Welcome to Podcast Unlimited, a platform designed for the many voices that the world refused to hear. Our main focus is on those who are facing major forms of systematic injustice. We even the playing field. We are your leverage. We are Podcast Unlimited. Okay, yeah. Let's go.
Let's go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to bring Bradley in first, and let's get to it. Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay, I'm Bradley Tanner. My CDC number is 0246-7361. I'm a white male. I'm 42 years old. And what do I get from participating in the transitional point class? For me, taking the class so far, I have started to look at and see things from a different perspective.
Okay.
In my life, maybe even more as a grown-up. But first, let me say I'm not looking for anything other than knowledge to help myself grow as a person, as well as spiritually and my faith. I think this class will help those, as well as myself, to rethink how I look at things for my future. Things like self-awareness, how to achieve my goals, respect myself and others, growing towards my walk in faith, spiritually, and how to look at life from a completely different way. I'm looking forward to learning all I can and even more than what I expect. I can say everything that sounds good, but for things like this to work, you as a person have to want it. You have to be tired, or as they say, hit rock bottom. For me, it is everything. Since I was 13 years old, I've been in and out of jail, prison, state schools by the bad choices and decisions I've made. Since I participated in this program, I've seen and learned so much. I've watched a dorm go from smoking, fighting, etc. every day to go clean, people socializing, smoke-free, unity, prayer call circles every day, learning to live a normal way, people getting along in different ways. I've never seen stuff like this before. I truly hope to continue. This class program to achieve a better way of life, things I've learned I've never thought possible. And that's it.
Wow, man, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, I think it's a good program.
Oh wow, man, that's definitely a great testimony.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate everything you're doing.
Yes, sir. Here's the next person.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell me your name and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Fausto Napolis. I'm a Latino male. I'm 24 years old. I'm in Valencia State, Georgia. This is my thoughts on the Transitional Point program. I've been in B4 dorm for 4 years. I've seen every dorm in here switch multiple times. Every time the dorm switches, it was the same thing. Fights every day, smoking everywhere, tension at all times, and most of all segregated by race and religion. Right before we started the Transitional Point program, smoking was so bad, someone literally died here. I say all that because in less than 2 months, I witnessed this program change people's thinking, actions, and reactions. People learn to conquer their smoking habits. Tension has left. There hasn't been one fight in here since the program started. And the racism has almost disappeared. What the transitional point program has done for me personally is allowed me to reframe my thinking. I know now that everything starts with a choice. From smoking to game banging to just start out being a bad person. It's taught me that life's about more than just my own selfishness. What I mean by that is we need to stop worrying about the differences we have with others, but worrying about the fact that there are people starving, kids out there who need mentoring, land that needs cleaning and other things that we as humans owe each other. To help me realize that I am more than just an inmate, that I can do better and will be better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely, definitely. And Godspeed to you, King.
Thank you. Hello?
Yes, sir. Tell me your name and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Amori Manning. I'm 20 years old. I'm a black African male. I'm from Dallas, Texas, the Oak Cliff area. And these are my thoughts for the Transitional Point program. The Transitional Point program, Transitional Point class is very helpful. It has helped me view things in life very different. I signed up for it so I could better myself before I get to the street. I believe that is a very helpful and good class for misguided and lost souls. The class has taught me how to act appropriately, how to use my time wisely, and especially how to be a man and use myself. It has taught me how to approach situations better with my family. It helped me see that I was being selfish in life with a lot of things. It taught me how to treat others and how to not let social media or idle people have an impact on my life. I really do look forward to the lessons this class has on down the line as time passes, because I know by the time I'm done with this class, I'm going to be a very humble and more positive and righteous human being, also a better father.
Wow. Oh, man. Congratulations, young king. Man, you have Godspeed with you, for real. You're under the right care. You're under the right care with Brother Abdul, definitely.
And I'm also grateful for Brother Abdul, because when I met him, I was at a very, dark and lost time of in my life. And when I locked in and we got on our knees, we started just kicking it, and it helped me. And it helped me see a lot of things, and it helped me think way different of life. So I'm thankful that the blessings God have gave me, and I'm blessed, and I'm thankful for the people He has put in my life.
Yes, sir, young king. That's what I'm talking about. Blessings to you, young king.
Thank you, you too, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Tell me your name and a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. My name is John Grisby. I'm 31. I'm a black African American male. For me, I've been on this unit for almost 4 years. I've been in the faith-based dorm as well as taking every class the unit has to offer, from physical life, parenting, to cognitive intervention. And don't get me wrong, I've learned something out of all these classes, especially cognitive intervention. But not as much as I've learned and witnessed with my own eyes in this week that I've been in this dorm at the transitional point. I've been in prison 3 times, including this time, and I've never seen such camaraderie and cohesiveness with as many people as I've seen now. The environment is peaceful, everybody is interacting with each other, and it's really a beautiful thing being that this place is designed to do the opposite. I think God blesses this unit without doing it more than one way. His drive and determination is a breath of fresh air, and he's hands down one of the most influential people I've ever met. He's taught me more about myself and how to identify the why to my problems, and made me realize that it all starts with me. I think that everyone should get involved with this program, but knowing that everybody's not wanting to change, the ones who do choose to will be lucky to have it.
Wow. Man, I'm telling you, your testimony really touched my heart, young king. So, yeah, I see that you definitely are not only taking the class seriously, you're actually applying it to your life. So, I just want to salute you on that, young king. And stay with brother Abdul, because like I was saying, he's definitely, a leader amongst leaders. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. He's shown me a lot. I come from a place where I didn't have any of that. So for me to have something like that is really, really touching to me, because it lets me know that I do have an opportunity and I do have a better way than what I'm used to. So I really do thank him.
And also, just to add to that, Young King, he has, he has resources and people, once you get out, you know what I mean, you can continue to stay on the same path. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I really do plan on doing all of that because, once again, I've never had a mentor, and I really do look up to him, and it's something that I think will be very valuable in my life.
Yes, sir. Well, stay in touch with us all, and I'm one of his soldiers. As far as you can contact me. So
Yes,
so they call me Cam. So just ask him about me. So when you touch down, you know how I go.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And it was nice to meet you as well.
All right, King. Salute.
Thank you. You too, sir.
We're going to wrap those up, and then we'll get some more later.
Okay, yeah, no doubt.
Those are any of those. And now when you're ready, how many minutes have you been on the phone?
Okay, can you say something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is Build a Better Hood broadcasting. 2045. We're back at you with a live episode. Discussing some of the main issues that continue to plague our communities. The conditions of our youth, how they get caught up in the streets. How their lives end up in the school to prison pipelines. And so, we're trying to interrupt that process. We're trying to figure out ways that we can be more effective in our communities and getting our young people off the streets into more productive lives so they can actually live their lives, right? So, that's what this is about. The 25, again, like I said, this is Build a Better Hood broadcasting, our outreach to the youth, a word from our youth, right? Messages from our youth. Everybody always wants to know what's going on in the minds of the youth, and so the best way to find out what's going on in the minds of the youth is to ask the youth, right? So that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. It's looking good on the meter, too. Okay, you can go. I say, yeah, it's looking good on the meter. You can proceed when you are ready.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's up, Cam Cole? Man, it's always a pleasure and an honor to talk to you, man. We haven't broadcast since, I think 22 or 23 last time when we were doing the podcast show.
Yes, sir.
This is Build a Better Hood broadcasting, and our main objective is to, hear the wishes and the concern from our youth that are out in the streets. We're always talking about, what's going on in the mind of our youth.
Yes, sir.
So, what better way to find out what's going on in the mind of our youth, Cam, than to ask our youth, right?
Exactly, King, for sure.
Right, so, today's episode, we're going to be doing a series, and, we're going to be introducing you and everybody out there in the world to 3 young men who come from these streets, from the hustling, the gang banging, being out there. Of course, we're reporting to you live from the belly of the beast on the front line.
Yes, sir.
Where I'm at all the time. I'm always out in the mix where the young people are trying to figure out different pathways to get our youth involved with building a better direction. I wish somebody would have did it for me, right, Cam?
Exactly, Cam.
So, this work is not optional, it's obligatory. Even though I find myself back in the confines of these prison walls, I still have an obligation to do the job that God has put me on the planet to do. So I'm just deployed to a location that I may not want to be at. But just like when you sign up to the military, man, you eventually get that email, right? After you do boot camp and you do training.
Right.
And you get that email and they say you're deployed to Afghanistan, and you're deployed to Ukraine or wherever it may be. And you got to get out and leave your family, man, and you have to go somewhere else, but you got to go out there and do what your job is. So being in prison, the interesting thing about it, man, is that I'm exposed to what we call the high-risk factors. Right? This is where a lot of the kids and a lot of young people who are caught up in a lot of corruption, caught up in a lot of things in the streets with all the gang banging and drug dealing and things of the such. And, in prison, there's a lot of things that youth are usually involved in. Right. It's very rare and very common and very unique when you can catch young people's minds in here, because in here it's just kind of like a battle of seeing who's the hardest, and and stunting and shining, right? So this is a rare thing, man, that these young men have decided to change their lives and dedicate themselves toward reaching the peers. So without any further ado, man, I'm gonna introduce the panel of young men. They're just gonna tell you who they are first,
right?
And then we'll get directly to the questions, right?
Okay.
So, could you introduce yourself and let the brothers know, the audience out there, who you are?
My name is John T. Grisby. I'm 32. I'm an African American male. My name is Fausto Napolis. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a Latino male. My name is Amor Jimenez. I'm 20 years old. I'm a Black Latino male.
All right. So what we're gonna do is get right into it. So the first question that we're gonna pose to the panel is, why are youth continuing to fall into gangs and into the streets? So we want to hear what their responses are to this question. So why are our youth continuing to fall into gangs and into the streets?
Yes, sir.
I believe it's because the guidance is very obsolete. They don't have anyone to show them better, so they don't know better. And like Bible says, it's blind leading the blind. Well, personally, I believe that when I was growing up, I didn't have no better example. So my daddy wasn't there, my mama wasn't there, my family did the best she could. So what people showed me was the best that they knew, but at the same time, it was all negative things. From what I understand is why the youth join gangs is because they don't have no leaders around them, they don't have no positive people around them, and it can also be in the home when they are feeling a sense of abandonment. They want to feel like they're loved, so they join the gangs to feel accepted in life, because also they don't have a dad to tell them what's right from wrong. So yeah, that's my point of view on that.
All right. So it's interesting listening to this man, and Ken, like I said, it's different when you're actually talking to young people who have actually experienced this, right?
Yes, sir.
So like I said, it's really unique, because being in here, 80-90% of the young people are always caught up in destruction, caught up in banging, caught up in doing drugs in here. Right now, we got like an epidemic going on with this tune, and we'll talk about that in the next episode. But let me, my next question to them is how much of the problems that we see about kids or young people falling into the streets and gangs, how much of the problem do you think is caused by absent fathers, by not being any fathers present in a relationship with these young people?
I believe that it is a big part of it. I know that I didn't grow up with my father. I also didn't grow up with my mother. I grew up in foster care, and being lonely and not having anybody around, it made me look for it in different places. So when I found it in gangbanging and doing wrong, I felt like that was my role model. I felt like that was my love that I had always wanted.
Wow.
I know that when I grew up, my daddy wasn't involved, so I went to the closest thing, and the closest thing was dudes older than me, gangbanging and selling drugs and stuff like that. So without proper guidance, you're going to go to the best thing available. And I believe that's why it's caused by not having a role model involved. I believe that it plays a big part on our life, because it's us being kids growing up without our fathers, we don't know where we're about to go. We don't have nobody telling us this is the right thing, this the wrong thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So we look up to the things that we've been brought up around. That, well, our dad wasn't around, and most of us, we hear stories about our dad was involved in his life. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he wasn't around. So it's like, oh, my dad did it, and that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So I believe it plays a big part of not having your father around and not having no father figure out of around to really teach us about life.
Yeah. You know, this is,
Man.
it's something that, you know, it's real gripping, and it's a tale, and it's real common, because, like, you know, when I was working with Build a Better Hood out in the streets,
Yes, sir.
one of the common denominators is that most of, like 90-95% of the young people that I dealt with out there, their fathers were absent in their life, right? And I was trying to figure out why a lot of the young males were so emotional. And then when I figured out that, you know, most of them had all been raised by women, you know, and a woman's nature is to be an emotional creature by nature. And I definitely salute the women for having to play dual roles.
Yes,
but,
sir.
you know, in a sense, you know, it takes away from her being able to be a full mother, because she has to play mother and father.
Right.
And so the big problem with us is that, you know, a lot of males out there in the world, and I say males because there's a difference between a male and a man. A man is somebody who assumes responsibility of his family, his surroundings, his community. A male just has a different physical disposition as a female, right? That's the only thing that makes him a male. But, you know, we're quick to father children, but we're not fathers to the children, right?
Right.
You know, we have to be there and go through the struggles with them, and you know, and be at PTA meetings and go through their first fights and their first crushes with girls and give them that type of guidance. Because when we don't, then the streets raise them, right? And so, you know, like I said, you know, hearing it directly from them is totally different. So our next question to our panel is, can you describe, you know, something about your lifestyle before you came to prison? You know, tell us a little bit about what your life was like before you came to prison.
My life was lonely. Like I said, my first memory was being in CPS. I got an older sister, a little brother, and a baby sister, and I got 3 foster siblings. And coming out of foster care, it made me really angry because I didn't know my family, and the stories that I did hear from my father about my father was him saying that I wasn't his because I was too light for him. And it just grew an anger towards me, in me, that made me shun people, isolate myself, and when I started doing wrong, it was something that became natural, and I thought that I was good at it because I didn't know anything else. And it took me having to sit down to realize that that wasn't right, that I could do something different. I'll say that my life was very chaotic because I didn't have nothing of influence. See, my older and little brother had just died, so I had stopped caring about everything. And I was on drugs and I was in gangs, just really not caring about the world. I only was caring, not even really about myself, but just about making materialistic things. So I could just be looked at as high and mighty, I guess. My life before prison was full of anger. It was full of hurt. It was being around a toxic environment. Like, before I came to prison, I didn't know which way I wanted to go. I was lost, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have God in my life like I was supposed to. I wasn't thinking about changing until I came to prison. I wasn't thinking about doing good. I was surrounding myself with people just like me, other people just like me, and all we cared about was money, the materialistic things. So my life, it was very dark, and it was very unsafe for me. That's profound.
That's heavy,
you know?
man.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
And you know, what's crazy is that, you know, growing up in the life that I grew up in the 80s and 90s, this is why I feel like, you know, I relate so much to these young people.
Yes, sir.
Because of, you know, falling victims to gangs and going in the wrong direction and spending so much time in and out of these institutions, something I'm definitely not proud of. But I'm thankful to God that He kept me in connection with these young people so that I could be able to talk to them and show them, you know, that they can be successful and do other things without having to fall victim to the streets. They have to fall victim to the things that we feel victim to. So that's why I keep saying it's not optional. It should be obligatory for every old head or OG or whatever we call ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Went through the game or been in the streets. It should be an obligation, man, for us to tell these young people what's truthful. So let's just move on to the next issue. So do you think, I would also, do y'all really think that the younger generation care about anything other than themselves? So this is the question that I know a lot of people kind of struggle with, because it's like, you think a lot of people, young people, are really selfish. So I want to just get an answer from them. But, with that answer, I also want them to kind of, give a little explanation of, why they feel like they got put into that mold, or why they feel like young people feel that way.
I can say that for me, I did. At least I wanted to. I wanted the attention. I wanted to be seen. I valued how people saw me. And then, as I got older, every person that I wanted the attention from, they hurt me. When I needed them, they turned their backs on me. And everything that I listened to, everything that I saw, every person that I wanted to look up to, they always had something negative to say about how people are. And when I started only noticing the negative things that people seen, that people showed, it made me stop caring. It made me look at people as, I can't trust you. And at that point, the term I wear my heart on my sleeve was something that I had to do away with. Putting it on ice and saying that there is no love, there is no trust, there is no anything with anybody. It made me take on that mentality. I feel like the youth really nowadays only care about materialistic things. Like, they stop caring about themselves, they stop caring about their families, their environment. The only thing they want to do is be seen. Because I know when I was out there, like I said, I was worried about making money, so I could buy the finer things. Because I really didn't care about life anymore. So with them not caring about themselves, that only means one thing, and I'm trying to live better, do better, but for the wrong reasons, so we get into the wrong things. Well, to me, I feel like, no, they don't care about anything else but themselves. And the reason I feel like that is because they feel like no one cares about them. I know that's the reason I felt the way I felt, because I feel like nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about how I'm living in life. Nobody cares if I'm doing good in life. So I got in that mode and that mindset because I feel like nobody cared about me. So I'm going to care about myself. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody else cares about me. Nobody cares if I do good, or nobody cares if I'm shooting, or nobody cares if I'm surviving. So I feel like, no, they don't care about anything but themselves because they could feel that way. Nobody cares about them. And going to that father leaving, people leaving out of their lives, maybe my best friend, you know what I'm saying? It's due to abandonment issues. So that's why I feel like
Yeah, man. That
Wow. I'm just telling you, man. I'm like, man.
Yeah. And it's something else that that caught me in a conversation that I was having with a brother the other day, because it's like, sometimes those of us who have retained information, or we've learned something, we've been through some experiences, what I never get around people is that, people get, they learn all this different type of knowledge, whether it be ideological, whether it be historical, whatever it may be, but sometimes it becomes a disconnect, and they forget how to talk and how to deal with other people, right? The knowledge kind of pulls them away so far that they think that it's just an average conversation that they're having with people, right? And they're kind of losing people because they don't know how to connect and talk to people any longer.
Right.
One of the things that I mentioned this for is because what I see with a lot of young people that I dealt with is that people don't care what you know until they know what you care, that you care, right?
Right,
so,
exactly.
you can sit there and tell me all different types of forms of knowledge on the planet. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to register with you until I know that you actually care about me, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of young people I see feel hopeless and lost out there because nobody's being consistent and showing them that they really care about what's going on within. So my next question is like, what do y'all think are some of the key influences to how you feel today? What are some of the key influences to making you feel the way they feel today?
At one point for me, it was music. It was the people that I chose to hang around. It was my environment. It was everything that I felt was something that I held to a degree that was something that I wanted to obtain. Now, my influences are people like ABDUL and people who want better and see better and can actually help me obtain better.